Wakati wa kuungana na mgeni wangu, karibu sana. Habari ya siku mingi?
Salama sana.
Yes.
Singi.
Yes. Karibu sana. Tutakuwa tunaendelea na going green with KCNP. Na leo tutakuwa tunaangazia greening the curriculum. Nafikiri kila mtu sofa anajua what is greening. Maybe tunaweza anzisha tu kidogo what is greening ndio tuangazie nayo hii greening the curriculum ndio nini.
Okay, asante sana Singi na karibu sana msikilizaji wangu siku ya leo. Na pole wiki iliyopita hatukuwa hewani kwa sababu ambazo hazigeepukika. Liposa Singi hapa anasema habari ya siku nyingi lakini si nyingi sana. So I'm back.
Yes.
And we thank God for that, and we are continuing with the greening.
Yes.
And we are talking about welcome, we green together.
Mm-hmm.
And just to remind you about greening, greening entails so many things. And all of us, in case you ask what greening is, at least you'll have something that you can talk about. Planting of the trees, having some green cover probably on our planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And we actually saying that is part of the greening. But we also say that it goes beyond planting of the trees. When we think about a sustainable future, a future where we will live and enjoy, a future whereby we are conserving whatever we have for the sake of tomorrow, for the sake of our children, all that is greening. Making good use of the natural resources that we have. Mm-hmm. That is also greening. Protecting, our environment, reducing pollution and all that. That is greening. Therefore, when you talk about greening, it is wide. And in the past talks, we have had or we have agreed that it is the responsibility of all of us, to green our environment. And therefore, even today, we'll continue doing that. And therefore, remember, you are a stakeholder in greening. Thank you.
Yes, now tunaangalia greening the curriculum. Tushajua what is greening. Na hii curriculum ni nini?
Thank you again. And my listener, I want you to know that when we are talking about the curriculum, you are actually part of this, and I would wish that we be together, because I'm very sure that in your life you have received education. Mm-hmm. And you have acquired that education either in a school setting, and that is what we call formal curriculum, or even right at your home. Vile ulijifunza pengine kutumia kijiko, kufagia, kufanya mambo kama hayo. That is also curriculum. We call that one informal curriculum. You learn through experience. We also, at one point or another, we may be called in a chief baraza to be told about soil erosion, or maybe we are invited in a workshop, farmers workshop or something like that. Mm-hmm. Something that will be organized, but not kind of in a school setting. That is non-formal curriculum. So when we are talking about curriculum, there is the formal, informal, and also non-formal curriculum. Mm-hmm. And for the formal that we very much well know in an education setting, we are talking about the subjects that will be taught, how they will be taught, that is the teaching methods, how they will be assessed, all those experiences and acquisition of those experiences, the skills, the attitude and all that. That is what we call curriculum. So curriculum encompasses all that, the subjects, the training methods, the assessment methods, all the activities that the students will carry out so that they can acquire the skills. That is it. But remember, I've also said there is that informal curriculum and informal curriculum, and therefore, even if you have not gone to school, I still want you to feel part of these, and that is why we are emphasizing that you are a stakeholder in greening.
Yes, to now we know what is a curriculum. Now tunaenda we look at now a green curriculum itakuwa inakaa vipi?
Okay, I really want to emphasize more on the formal curriculum. Mm-hmm. And a green curriculum is that curriculum that will integrate the environmental awareness, ecological responsibility, and sustainability in the teaching and learning. So like now, if I am teaching maths and I bring in some little greening, then I'm already greening the curriculum. When I'm using a certain method, even if, for example, I'm doing something like probably statistics, and we are doing now the statistics on, the plants, that are around the environment, maybe the trees and all that. And then maybe from there, we analyze, and then we ask ourselves, what is the effect of having so many trees or very few trees and so on, by comparing, several portions of our compound, you see? So by doing that, I am teaching maths, but I'm bringing in something that has to do with ecology in that maths. Therefore, by so doing, I'm integrating curriculum. I'm greening the curriculum.
Okay.
When I'm teaching, even at probably primary school level, and I'm teaching probably English, and today is the day of storytelling, or maybe there is probably a passage where the pupils are supposed probably to read and answer some questions. And then if that passage is based on environment, then that way I'm already greening the curriculum. Therefore, whatever I do as a trainer or as a teacher, whether it is the content or even the method of teaching, if I bring in greening, then I can say that curriculum is a green curriculum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, why should we do that? Why should we green the curriculum?
Mr. Singi and my listener, we are facing various global challenges, yeah? Like the climate change, we have pollution, and even the resources are depleting every now and then. The many big rivers that we used to have those days, are no longer there. And the ones that are there are very dirty, yeah? There is a lot of pollution. Siku hizi watu wamenunua magari sana. Kwa hivyo hizo magari, we are getting a lot of poisonous gases from
Are you
the,
telling
from
us
the
to
exhausts.
sinunue? Are you telling us to sinunue magari?
What I'm saying is that when we burn the diesels and all that, there is evolving a lot of poisonous gases in the air. And that is why we are talking about but buy electrical one. Electric ones are coming, you see, and are there. And that is a way of even greening our transport system, whereby we are using electrical gadgets, that is the motorbikes and also the cars. By so doing, we are conserving so much because some of them are even using solar, and that is also part of greening, the use of the natural resources. So tuendelee kununua magari, lakini tuendelee kununua magari ambayo haita pollute our environment. Yeah, anyway, what we were therefore saying is that by greening the curriculum, we are preparing our learners to be able to solve the problems that are as a result of the climate change, to be able to cope and also contribute to what we term as sustainable development goals. So this student must be prepared. This learner must be prepared. This trainee must be prepared, because that trainee is the one who will go out and be a worker. This student is also even living in our families, and therefore whatever he learns in class, then he will practice that, at our homes, in the environment that we are living in. He is a member of the society. And this person is very, very, very key. A child, probably in the ECD, in primary school, in secondary school, also at the university. Therefore, when we look at the education kind of as a seedbed of all what happens on earth, then it means that that education is a tool for development, and meaning that in that education, it is important to have it being greened. And therefore, that is the reason why we actually need a green curriculum.
And how do we go about it? How do we go about greening these curriculums we have? Curricula.
Yes, that one is very simple, as I said. Because remember, here we are talking about curriculum being the content, teaching methods, assessment methods, the experiences a learner will have. So we can decide the content itself will have some aspect, some greening aspects. And therefore, when I am probably writing a book, or when I am developing probably even the curriculum itself, the syllabus and all that, let me have the content containing something that has to do with environmental awareness. Then when it comes to the teaching, even the examples that I give, let me give examples that are environmental kind of examples. And at the same time, the activities I'll have with my students or my students, or even pupils, or even the trainees. The activities, let them go and have some small gardens, and they do it themselves. Let us have a day that we shall plant trees with them, even if he's as young as maybe 10 years or 9 years, and let them get to know why are we planting trees. Let them know, because some of them may take that it's a punishment. We are being punished probably on Friday or on Saturday, to plant trees and to water it so that it can grow. Remember, we are talking about growing trees, not just planting and all that. So let them not take it as a punishment. So let them learn. So when we are doing all those activities, and then we are bringing in, some greening aspect, by so doing, we are already greening the curriculum. At the same time, even training or capacity building our trainers is part of how we can green the curriculum. Some of these trainers have gone through whatever kind of pedagogy they went through, but previously, greening was not so much emphasized. And therefore, in their training, they need to infuse that. That's a new aspect. And therefore, they need capacity building, so that as they do that, they integrate, whether it is by adding, something within the content, or even when they are giving examples, or even when they are assessing. So instead of just telling the children, add 1 plus 1, let me talk about, I planted 3 trees, then I added 5 more. But then, by the end of 3 months, 2 of them dried up for not watering. No? So how many trees do I now have? Such like a thing. You have done assessment, but instead of just writing the numbers there, 3 plus 2 minus 1, what have I done? I have brought in a question that has an environmental related aspect in it. But it calls for that teacher to have their mindset being on greening, for her now to integrate that greening even in the assessment. So capacity building of trainers is important, and it is part of this long journey that we are talking about greening our curriculum today. Yes.
Kuna curriculums kama za mechanical engineering, how pia nao wanafaa wa integrate greening, and how can they do that?
They can do that because, as we've always talked about, and even in your introduction today when you've told me to remind people about greening, we are talking about conservation. So many are times that we use something, and whatever item we are using, we leave some, and to us that is waste. And sometimes we may just pick it and kind of just throw it away. Or maybe some people will come and, just pick it to go and sell to get money as scrap metal and all that. But when our mindset is on greening, one, we shall ask ourselves, how can we reuse that? Yeah?
Okay.
How can we do the recycling? How can we reduce that waste? Remember the other time we were talking about waste management, and we emphasized about reducing, about recycling, about reusing. So this part of the metal that you have cut and it's like you're throwing away, try to check, how can I reuse it? And at the same time, what can I do? Probably come maybe the next lesson in that mechanical subject to reduce, my waste. You see, by probably using having small scale kind of use or any other. And therefore, because we are talking here about waste management and all that, that is part of greening. Therefore, there is also greening that can be done even in such kind of subject areas.
All right. Tuna levels tofauti za education. Na how can we integrate, rather, which levels can we integrate this curriculum?
Thank you so much, Mr. Singhi. Because of this,
Yeah.
and I still want to emphasize and let us get it right that we are all stakeholders in greening. It doesn't matter our age, it doesn't matter our status, it doesn't matter our gender. We are all equal participants in greening. And when we talk about the age, we have those children who are in what we call the ECD, the early childhood education. Formerly, we used to call them nursery schools. There are those who are in the basic education, that is primary and also secondary schools or high schools. Then we have those who are in higher education. And therefore, looking at that, there are several things that we can still do that has to do with greening at childhood. Huyo mtoto akitafuna peremende yake inaitwa kutafuna ama kunyonya, whatever the case. That child should be taught at that age that don't litter the compound. So when that child collects that piece of paper, that is the wrapper, and puts it in a dustbin, that is part of greening. When that child plants a small tree, a seedling is something that can be handled by even that child of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Aweke hata ikiwa ni kwa mkebe, aanze kujua mambo ya growing of plants, growing of the trees, watering them so that they can grow. You're already instilling in her the knowledge and the skills of greening. When they are through with whatever they are eating, cleaning that place, and then putting probably the foodstuffs in one container, they can call it a dustbin, or even if it's just a bucket. Lakini, probably the polythene papers, placing them somewhere. That child is already learning about sorting out. The separation of waste into various categories. So when that one is being done at that level, you're already doing greening. However, at a higher level, probably basic level, that is only primary and also secondary school or high school, that one can be done. Curriculum, the greening can be integrated, in the subject. The teachers there can also be capacity build on how to integrate greening in their teaching methods. At the same time, at a higher level, like TVET, innovations, research, and also at a higher level, that is at the university, research on ecosystem and all that, can be done. Therefore, looking at this, it means that it cuts actually across all the levels, and there is something for every age group of our children. And at every level, there is some greening that can be taught. And therefore, with that, to answer actually your question, greening can be done at every level of our education.
Je, una maoni? Una swali? Unataka sauti yako isikike?
Comrades power! Comrades power! Comrades power!
The government agency have been trying to frustrate one of our students.
Karibu katika baraza la Mvita, jukwaa la mijadala na masuala ya kijamii, kiuchumi na kisiasa yanayoigusa jamii na taifa kwa ujumla.
Our president, tunataka kazi. Tunaambiwa kila wakati kuna pesa ya wamama. kuna pesa ya youth.
Kila Jumatatu hadi Alhamisi kuanzia saa 2 asubuhi hadi saa 3 ndani ya Amka na Mvita. Baraza la Mvita, mahali sauti ya mwananchi inasikika. Mvita FM.
Karibu sana madam, tuendelee na mazungumzo, na ningependa sasa uniambie your plans for this greening curriculum. Mnapanga kufanya nini? Because there must be something ambayo tunafaa kufanya to ensure our curriculum ziko green.
Now we cannot preach water while we drink wine.
Mm-hmm.
So we are doing a lot in greening of the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And first and foremost, when we talk about our curriculum, because we have the mandate to develop the curriculum, we are looking at, first of all, what is the need out there? What is the gap out there? So that now, as we develop, we ensure we are filling that gap. We are taking care and we are giving a solution to that need.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you talk about greening our curriculum, we have first of all do some research still within us, and we're looking at what is lacking. Like you have talked about mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. We had to go there with some questionnaires to ask the stakeholders there, the technicians, what kind of wastes do you have in this department.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would tell us the kind of waste they have. We move from there, fashion design, what kind of waste do you have? Now, what do you do with that waste? Of course, most would tell us, okay, we put probably in the dustbins, and then the cleaners who do the cleaning, they come correct, and of course they go to take them to probably the garbage center,
mm-hmm.
and then it's corrected from there. Meaning that if you look at various departments, they cannot really tell you what they do with their waste.
Mm.
And of course, every other time when we have new students, things are being bought, things are being used. Whatever is not being used, that one they say waste and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, the aspect of reusing, reducing, recycling, we've realized that it is a need. And that is part of now, having now looked at that, or having now done that kind of survey, cutting across, all the departments, because we did that in our department. So, we are now looking at, does the current curriculum have those aspects to now instill the knowledge and the skills of greening that curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And that is now what we are focusing on. In the curriculum, there is the content to be done.
Mm-hmm.
There is the kind of the flow of how the lesson will be, the learning outcomes and all that. They even have documents, professional documents that they prepare. Like now we have something that is called learning plan. How will you handle this kind of work, for the whole, term, if it's a module.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of teacher activity, trainer activities will you have? The trainees activities will you have? So with that now, we are instilling now those ones. We are infusing now what the aspect of greening in the learners activity, or the trainees, in the trainers, activity, in the content, to ensure that somehow that one has been learned. And also in the assessment, such that we'll expect moving forward that in the assessment, at least we'll have some questions on sustainability, something that has to do with greening, even
Mm-hmm.
in our assessment,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can really know this worker, because in Kenya Coast we prepare workers, a seafood rebate to go to the world, transform the world, and ensure that he aligns whatever he's doing to the sustainable development goals.
Okay.
So with that, that is what we are doing, and we've already greened several curriculums. Of course, it takes time, because now we are doing the training and many other things, but we are also setting time aside once in a while to green our curriculum. And so far, we have greened over 30 curriculum. And because we have over 150 curriculum, slowly and by, I know that we shall green all our curriculum, and at the same time capacity build our trainers on how to do the greening. like the coming week, whatever we have greened so far, we are doing what we call pre-testing and also piloting, because when you have done something in the curriculum, and even if it is a curriculum that will be used nationwide, you don't just start implementing it anyhow. It can backfire. So it is important to first of all pre-test. You know, how will it be? Will it meet whatever vision you have? So you pre-test. Then after that, you pilot now with the trainees. You pilot. Have they achieved probably the objective that you had in the greening aspect? You assess. You try to check whether the flow will be okay. You try to check whether it will spend so much extra time such that they will not, be through within probably the 3 months they're supposed to do a module. How much extra time will it have? Through the piloting, you can now have kind of some feedback that can help you still review further. So that one will now be, suitable curriculum to roll out now to the mass. So I have said, as far as greening is concerned, we've already greened several curriculum. Next week, we are doing pre-testing. Then after doing pre-testing of some of the curriculum that have been developed, then, curriculum that have been reviewed to integrate greening, then we will do piloting, and then probably come next term, we shall now start to roll out now the green curriculum. Yes.
Okay, so very soon, while wanaingia from May, what part of their curricula is green?
Greened, yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. What are the plans for coming weeks in terms of greening with Kenya Post? Tukimalizia.
So when you talk about the plans, I want you to remember that at the beginning we said that curriculum we can have what we term as formal curriculum, and informal curriculum, and formal curriculum. So the plans that we have is one, as far as formal curriculum, I think I have briefly explained. We are already greening it and we will roll it out. We will implement. Come next time, we'll be in a position to implement. And we are talking about implementing such that now, at the end of it all, we will even assess, that. However, we are hoping to also have, clubs, workshops and all that, that we can pass some information about greening. Those ones are not structured like the way we would have the curriculums. At the same time, also to mentor, the children in our high schools. We may not go to change their curriculum as at now, but we can introduce some aspects of greening in those schools by integrating, by ensuring that we create kind of, awareness. Even if it means whatever clubs they have, like some of them have things like, 4K clubs and all that. And therefore, Kenya Coast can actually go out there, or their plans, to go out there to enhance, the activities they have to now be more, greened. And that way, the patrons of maybe those clubs will see the essence of even integrating greening in their curriculum. And at the same time, we also once in a while organize such activities as planting of the tree. That one is now an informal planting of the trees in other organizations, institutions and all that. And when we are doing so, we give talks. So there are those other things that we can do to ensure that people are learning, because here we are talking about people learning, whether it is through formal curriculum, informal or non-formal. We want people to learn. So those are some of the things that we are planning to do in order to ensure that the education we have today will bring a brighter future and a green future, and a future that is sustainable. A future whereby we will not lack because we are conserving today, and even the people who will be now in that future, we will know how to reduce, how to recycle, and even how recycle and also reuse whatever they have in order to meet their needs. Instead of always crying, hatuna hiki, we can as well do a lot of conservation and ensure that everybody has their needs met.
Ujumbe wako wa mwisho
tukimaliza, I want to say that education is not just about books. Because we always take it that, it's books, textbooks. Education is about the experiences that we acquire, the habits that we finally acquire after going through that education. So we should have education that instills habits that are productive in our environment. We want education that can give us experiences, real skills and experiences that translate to sustainability. And therefore, that education can only be that education that is greened. And therefore, I would say, let us green our curriculum for a sustainable future.